Hello everyone, welcome to Statecraft IS Academy. As you all know, we have started a new initiative called the Daily Current Affairs Discussion, and you'll get the PDF of this video on the Statecraft Telegram channel, Statecraft website, as well as in the description box of this video. So let's get started with the current affairs. Our first topic of discussion is Burkina Faso. So recently, some suspected people who were linked to Al Qaeda and Islamic State have killed at least 160 civilians in Burkina Faso near the borders with Mali and Niger. So the incident happened in Solan. So note that Solan is a place in Burkina Faso. It can come in as match the followings in the prelims. So talking about the country, it is a landlocked country in Western Africa and it is bounded by Mali to the north. You can see in the map also. It is surrounded by Mali, Niger, Togo, Benin, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, which is also called the Ivory Coast. So talking about the country, it is a low-income Sahel country with limited natural resources and its economy is largely based on agriculture. Also, the geography is characterized by savanna, that is grassy in the north, and gradually gives way to sparse forest in the south. Now we'll see the Sahel region. So this is very important in terms of prelims. It's important to note the countries which are there in Sahel region. So in total there are 8 countries. First is Mauritania, Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Nigeria, Chad and Sudan. Remember the 8 countries by heart. Next we will discuss about the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. So it is an intergovernmental organization and it is the implementing body of the Chemical Weapons Convention. And this convention came into force in 1997 and it has 193 members. And its aim is to basically achieve a world which is free of chemical weapons. And its function include inspection to verify the signatory states whether they are complying with the convention norms or not. And it also performed testing of sites and victims of suspected chemical weapons attacks. And the headquarters is in Hague, Netherlands. Now we'll see what Chemical Weapons Convention is. So it's a multilateral treaty that bans chemical weapons and also requires their destruction within a specified period of time. The negotiation for the convention started in 1980 at the UN Conference on Disarmament, and the convention opened for signature in 1993. So and it entered into force in 1997. The purpose of it includes, it prohibits the large-scale use, development, production, stockpiling and transfer of chemical weapons. Exception is there for limited purposes such as research, medical, pharmaceutical or protective. And it is implemented by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, about which we read before. So the convention is open to all nations and it currently has 193 state parties, and India is a signatory to this treaty. Also, it's important to note that Israel has signed but it has not ratified the convention, whereas there are 3 other countries which has neither signed or nor ratified the convention. It includes Egypt, North Korea and South Sudan. Also, there is one unique feature about the convention. It is a challenge inspection. So it has a challenge inspection which under this, any state party which is in doubt about the other state parties' compliances can actually request a surprise inspection. Next we'll talk about sea snot. So there has been a growing environmental concern in Turkey over the accumulation of sea snot. So this sea snot is a slimy layer of grey or green sludge which can cause damage to the marine environment. And these are formed when the algae are overloaded with nutrients. And the first outbreak of it was recorded in 2007 and that was spotted in the Aegean Sea near Greece. So the reason behind the overloading of nutrients is the warm weather which is caused by global warming, water pollution, uncontrolled dumping of household and industrial waste into the sea or other bodies. other water bodies. So this time it has been recorded in Turkey's Sea of Marmara. So this Sea of Marmara connects Black Sea and Aegean Sea. This is an important topic for prelims as well. So we should also go through all the other seas which, this area is actually very important. There are other seas as well. We'll see to it. I've also put a map of it. So the Sea of Marmara connects Black Sea and Aegean Sea. And here only the largest outbreak of sea snot has been noticed. So we'll talk about the harmful impacts of sea snots. So it has been found out that it can cause it can cause mass deaths among the fish population, and also can kill the other aquatic organisms such as corals. The mucilage is now covering the surface of the sea and has also spread to 80 to 100 feet below the surface in that area. And if they are unchecked, they can actually collapse to the bottom and cover the sea floor, which can cause a huge damage to the marine environment. And over a period, it could also end up poisoning all the aquatic life, including fishes, crabs, oysters, and sea stars. Now we can see the map of Sea of Marmara. So it joins the Black Sea and the Aegean Sea. Next we can also see the Ionian Sea and Mediterranean Sea. Aegean Sea is between Turkey and Greece, whereas Sea of Marmara is surrounded by Turkey. Also, it's important to note the nearby countries of the countries which borders Black Sea. Some of it includes Romania, Bulgaria, and Turkey. So this map is actually important for geography related questions. Next, we'll discuss about ASEAN. So recently, China is hosting foreign ministers from 10 ASEAN countries. The event will also mark the 30th anniversary of relations. So ASEAN is basically Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and this is a regional organization which was established to promote political and social stability. And the motto of ASEAN is one vision, one identity, and one community. Its headquarters is located in Indonesia, Jakarta, and it was established in 1967 with the signing of the ASEAN Declaration, which is also called Bangkok Declaration. Its founding fathers include Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. And ASEAN has 10 members, which includes Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. Important to note that India is not a part of Association for Southeast Asian Nations. We usually tend to confuse, but it's important to note that India is not a part of ASEAN countries. Next, talking about the significance, as we all know that there are aggressive moves by China in the region. So, and India has placed ASEAN at the center of the India's Act East policy. So, a responsive ASEAN is essential for the security and growth for all in the region. You can see the map of ASEAN countries. They are all nearby countries. Next, we will talk about UN CEO Water Mandate. So recently, NTPC, that is National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, has become a signatory to the United Nations Global Compact CEO Water Mandate. It is a special initiative of the UN Secretary General and the UN Global Compact, implemented in partnership with the Pacific Institute. It was established in 2007, and it basically aims to demonstrate commitments and efforts of companies to better their water and sanitization agendas, which are a part of the long-term sustainable development goals. So, and it is basically a global commitment platform for corporate water stewardship. So, water stewardship is the use of water in ways that are socially equitable, environmentally sustainable, and economically beneficial. Next, it has 6 commitment areas which include direct operations, supply chain and watershed management, collective action, public policy, community engagement, transparency. Next, talking about the United Nations Global Compact Initiative, it is a non-binding United Nations initiative. It encourages companies worldwide to adopt sustainable and socially responsible policies. And the categorized 10 principles range from human rights to anti-corruption to environment, labor, etc. It was officially launched at the UN headquarters in New York City in 2000. Next, we'll talk about the G7 corporate tax deal. So, recently a group of the world's richest nations, that is the G7 countries, reached a landmark deal to close cross-border tax loopholes used by some of the world's biggest companies, that is the MNCs. So the group 7 countries include, this is important for prelims, it includes US, Canada, UK, France, Germany, Italy and Japan. And the group 7 countries now would support a minimum global corporation tax rate of at least 15%. And this will ensure that the taxes are paid in the countries where the business operates. For that, we'll first discuss about base erosion and profit shifting. So it basically refers to the tax avoidance strategies that exploit the gaps and mismatches in the tax rules to artificially shift profit to low or no tax locations. So what happens is, big companies like Google, Amazon, etc., they try to avoid tax by shifting their profit to such countries which has low or no tax, which is basically the tax haven countries. So they make use of the loopholes in the taxation system and try to avoid taxes by shifting their profit. So this basically undermines the fairness and integrity of the tax system, because the businesses that operate across borders can use this base erosion and profits shifting technique to gain competitive advantage over the enterprises that operate at a domestic level. So what will happen if they shift the profit? So they do operate in the country, but they are not paying the taxes, so they can earn a greater profit, whereas the domestic countries have to pay full amount of tax. So that kind of puts them in a competitive advantage position. Next, its mechanism will include that the global minimum tax would apply to overseas profits, and the government can set whatever local corporate tax they want. But if the company pays lower tax in a particular country, their home government could top up their taxes to the minimum rate, thus eliminating the advantage of shifting profits. So what will happen if the country can decide whatever corporate tax they want, but if the company tries to pay lower tax in a particular country, the home government of that country can increase their tax to meet the minimum tax limit. Thus the company will have to pay the full amount, and it will eliminate the advantage of shifting the profit. The OECD has also been coordinating tax negotiations on rules for taxing cross-border digital services and curbing tax-based erosion, including a global corporate minimum tax. Also, the countries would lose the device used to push policies that suit them once a global minimum tax is put in place. Talking about the impact on India, the decision is likely to benefit India, as India has wanted to keep a corporate tax rate artificially lower to attract FDI, that is foreign direct investment, in comparison to tax haven or low taxation countries. Next, we'll talk about Kerala's Smart Kitchen project. So recently the Kerala government has announced the introduction of a Smart Kitchen project, which is meant to modernize the kitchens and ease the difficulty faced by the homemakers in household chores. So this scheme will be implemented through the Kerala State Finance Enterprise, and so in this scheme, the Kerala State Finance Enterprise will give soft loans to women from all walks of life for purchasing household gadgets or equipments. and the interest of the loan would be equally shared among the beneficiary, the local self-government and the self-government and the state government. So this would ensure the better participation of women in the labor, because they now there will be a less burden on the household chores. So this see, I've also mentioned before that the state specific schemes are not very relevant, neither in prelims nor in mains, but we can always use those the schemes as examples in our mains answer writing. The UPSC will not ask questions related to it, but we can always put it in different questions as an examples. So all for today guys. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.